Well, I've been checking for a few days now to see when 25.2 would come out for our John Deere 16 or 616R. This should have the auto turn function in it now, released for the self-propelled sprayers. So we'll give her an install and see how it works. Alright, all installed here, and if I go into menu, applications, AutoTrac Turn Automation, there it is. Now, one thing I found in our tractor is that you need to make sure that the boundaries are all set up in your field. So you can see I have it all in here. I'm going to change this exterior one to be a constant offset of just double my boom width. So I have a nice little headland to turn around in there. It says quality, not autonomy, but I think it'll still work, so I'm going to give it a go here. It looks good. I've turned it on, and my AutoTrac is on, so I'm going to try this out. Alright, I've done the headlands here and I adjusted it actually back to 200 feet. We'll see how that works out. I'm just doing a small little chunk of our field here, pre-seed burn off. And so I have it set, I believe, so it'll make a left turn coming up here once I enter the headland. From what I read, this version of the AutoTrac Turn doesn't have a speed function, so you can't slow down your machine automatically. You have to do that manually. So, and it recommends 7 miles per hour. So we're gonna see what happens here at the end. I might have to take over and adjust things if it doesn't look good. Not too much to run into other than just there's a fence line up there I'll watch for, but it looks like on the screen here, I don't know if you can see that, it does show the turn in the darker blue. I'm just going to slow down the machine, see what it does here. Okay, so it's actually pretty aggressively turning as soon as I enter the turn function there. And it's coming back around. Yeah, so it's not a smooth kind of turn like I would usually do in the field. Oh, and it actually a little skip there too. So I might need to play with that a little bit and actually get it to go further into the headland. I'm going to bring that 200 down and see what happens then. Okay, I brought it down to 180. So my boom width is 120. I try and do kind of a couple rounds in the headland, give myself some space. So this should go into it. Now I am coming up to more of an angled headland here. Tree line in front of me. Kind of doing a funky blue line there. It looks like it's cut the headline a little bit, so I'm just going to slow it down early this time. And see kind of how this all works. So it's making the turn. Okay. Now it might be acting a little strange just because of the angle too. It's not really a straight shot. And it really aggressively turns. I might have to change that in the settings a little bit. You can see it's a little wide there too. That's better. Slight little skip there. I might want to go back and just touch that up. Not bad though. I'm gonna have to keep trying this and see what settings are good here. You can tell now, if any of you aren't familiar with this yet, it doesn't have a turn programmed in coming up here because I'm going to be finishing off the strip and in the headline. If you want to change what you're doing at the end of the turn, here's some settings, and I might play with those a little bit if you want to turn left or right or change what it's doing. Yeah, the U-turn is selected. So nice to see feature come out from the sprayer. I've been waiting for it. We've had it in our tractor for a year or two, and it works nicely. And now, of course, you're going slower, pulling an implement, so a little bit different scenario here. But I'm going to finish up this section. I'm going to move into a little larger section of the field here and see how it functions over there. on a new part of the field here, a little darker. Did the headlands here first. So a couple things I was thinking through with this. Obviously, I think this is built so that you're doing one round of your headland. That's why it can turn so aggressively, keep you in that boom width while you do that U-turn to get back on your next track. I still did 2 here on the ends, and so we'll see how that goes. I can see why also it recommends that you go down to 7 miles per hour on your speed. I'm doing 15 right now here in the field. It's pretty aggressive turns, and I think that's why I was a little bit out on that last turn, is just going slightly faster than that 7 in that turn caused it to turn a little wider than it probably would have otherwise. And so I am going to slow it down here at the end, and I think I have 150 foot offset from my perimeters right now. So I'll bring it down to the recommended 7 here. Did that a little early, but I just want to see how it handles it here. See at the edge here, got a fence line, some alfalfa beyond that. And okay, cleared up that, so it's going to take this turn. Looks like it's sticking pretty close to that line this time here, that predefined turn line. I got a little electrical error there. Okay, it's turning in. Yeah, and it holds that line real good at 7. So since we've completed the turn, I'm going to take us back out to our speed. Right on, that worked pretty good actually. So, unlike the tractor where it's fairly hands-off on the turn, like you can program in a predefined headland speed, so it'll slow down the tractor automatically, and you can control the implement and whatnot. We're on this version of the same software. It seems like in my AutoTrac Turn, I don't really have those options. I have turn size, I have the start turn where I could modify that for the headland. Instead of going in and modifying my boundary section, I could do it here. Turn size, you can make it larger, smaller. It looks like you can make it more like that U shape as opposed to what I have right now, which is in between, kind of a flat section. So this might actually be more helpful if you do the 2 headlands, or if you have a tighter headland to do this. So I know some people out there are like, why would you use auto turn? I like to turn my machine myself. I get that. What I think the benefit of an application like this is that when you're in crop spraying, you're not, wheels down here, you're not running over more of your crop by making inconsistent turns at the end. If you can keep that as tight as possible, especially with John Deere's guidance, it's pretty good. You don't have to run over more of your crop, and you get more of a return on your investment for the money that you've spent. And so I think there's definitely a good application case here, and I'm glad to see it come to the sprayer. I'm going to keep trying it in this field and see how it works out. Maybe tweak a few more settings, but as it makes the turn here, hands off steering wheel, it's doing it for me. I am slowing down. I don't usually go all the way to 7 to make a turn. I'm around 10 usually, because I have a little bit of a wider 2 headland space to make it. But I do like the idea of slowing down, make it accurate, and then also, if I can get pretty good at my headlands, I can cut it down to just 1 round on the headland and keep even more of that crop from being pushed over by my tires, especially in season. So pretty cool to see this come to the sprayers now. And yeah, I'll definitely be using this and testing it as I go throughout the season.